Hi YouTube, it's your girl Dina, and I'm here with a weight loss surgery update. And this video is going to be about um, what to expect for within the first 6 months after having weight loss surgery. Specifically, if you've had the gastric sleeve surgery, what to expect the first 6 months after having weight loss surgery. Yeah. I'm going to number these things off, but I'm not going to say it's the top 10 or whatever. These are just things that I noticed. It's definitely going through my own experience. I'm a year and a half post-op, and I remember these things vividly, and they're not happening to me now after being a year post-op, but this was a part of my everyday life for the first 6 months. So if you're going through this and you're watching this video and you're within your 6 months, you're going to be like, oh my God, yes, no one told me this before. Well, hopefully there's someone out there that hasn't had the surgery yet, so you may go through this. You may not, but you may. The first thing that I thought was really weird, no one talked about it. If you've had the gastric sleeve, or I don't know if people that have the any of the other surgeries go through this, but I definitely did, and no one talked about it. Never saw any videos about it before, but you don't burp. Like, you can't burp. Of course, you can't drink soda to make you burp. You're drinking water or something something like that. You're not supposed to drink juice, but you're probably drinking juice. But you don't drink soda, but you can't burp. And that was something that was so weird to me, because I would get full so fast and it would feel like it was stuck. And all you want to do is burp, just to get some room up in there. You have the sensation of burping. Just talking about it makes me feel like I want to burp right now, but you cannot burp. And this is I can't find any information on this at all online, but my thinking is that your sleeve, of course, it looks like a banana. Let's say this is your sleeve, and hopefully it's not this skinny, because that's really bad. But your stomach goes down to something like a sleeve, a little thing like this. And when you eat and you're putting food in there, of course, you're not supposed to drink while you eat, so it's not going to slide it down really fast. And you're not eating fast, so you're not, hopefully, if you're eating slow like you're supposed to, you're not swallowing air when you eat. And so it gets compacted in there really quick, and then there's no room. There's no room for air. There's no room for anything. It's just food up in there. And so you just got to wait until that goes down into your intestine to feel like you have room. So because I guess my sleeve was so tight, there was no room or wiggle room for me to push the air back up to burp. So I just couldn't burp. I just always felt the sensation that, oh my God, if I could just burp, I can get some room, but I could never burp. And it was weird. So you may have this when you go, within your first 6 months. You may feel like you want to burp, but you can't burp. The second thing is going into the not burping. When you eat, of course, the feeling of feeling stuck, like the food is stuck, is in here, in your chest. You think, oh, my belly is down here, and I feel the sensation down here. No, not at all. Like the feeling is up here. And I don't know, it just, in my mind, I feel like this is where my stomach is. My stomach is right here. I'm so full. Oh my God, I'm so full. I would literally do that whenever I ate. It's like, oh my God, I'm so full. Not down here, like, oh God, it's full in there. No, your fullness is up here. I don't know why. So I always equate, like, my stomach hurts or, oh, I feel so full. Like, I would always feel it in my chest area. I don't know why. I don't know the mechanics. And I know that my stomach is not like down here. I know my stomach is like where the pouch where your stomach is up more closer to your chest. But it's not up here, is it? I don't know. You feel stuck up here. And is it in your esophagus? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. But I always equate my fullness here. point connected to that is when you do feel the feeling of stuck or you feel the feeling of fullness, what I would do, and this is a habit that becomes commonplace and it just naturally started to occur. I would beat my chest like this, and it would instantly give me relief. Like when I would eat and I would start to feel that stuff feeling, or I would start to feel like, oh my God, I'm way too full, it hurts. I would go like this. And something about doing that kind of, I don't understand, it made it feel like I was pushing the food and kind of patting it down to get it down further. And it would make me feel better. Have any of you ever done that? Like, I know it's really weird. And like, when I was in restaurants or when I would eat around family and I would do like this, no one ever questioned it. They kind of just was like, like, oh, Dina's full. And I equated to like, how when you feed a baby a bottle and you have to burp them, and after they eat, you have to pat them on the back so that they can burp. I'm turning off my Fitbit. You have to pat them on the back so they can burp. That's how it was for me. Like, I couldn't burp. Of course, I already talked about that. But I would pat my chest and it would just bring some relief. Like it was like me patting the food down or wherever it needs to go so I can not feel so stuck and full. It helped for me. I don't understand the mechanics. I don't know what was going on up in my body, but patting my chest definitely helped to relieve that stuck and too extra full feeling. I don't know. Some people may do other things. They may like stretch or like, whatever. Hopefully you're not eating so much, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be feeling like this. I wasn't supposed to be eating this fast or this much. But hopefully you're going by the rules and you're eating the amount of time you're supposed to eat, and you're not eating too much, and the kind of foods that you're supposed to eat, that you don't get that feeling of stuckness or extra fullness where you have to beat your chest like Tarzan or whatever. So hopefully you don't experience this, but I'm sure 90% of the people do. What is your routine? Like, do you pat your chest, or do you feel a sensation to do that or whatever? Because I definitely did. And that I kind of had just stopped doing that. I'd say like up to 10, 11, 12 months, I didn't do that anymore. So it made me understand that my sleeve was stretching a little bit. I did have room to eat. It stopped around the time where I noticed that I can eat a little bit more. And now when I eat, when I get full, I just get full and I stop. I was like, oh, okay, I feel like this is the part where it's not comfortable anymore. And I just stopped eating. And, that sensation of fullness is there, but it doesn't hurt to the point where I need to go like that. So I don't have to do it anymore. It's weird, I know. Also, other things that I noticed within the first 6 months after having surgery is that, I have to drink because this is a lot of information. Another thing that I noticed, it's dark. Within the first 6 months after having gastric sleeve surgery is that, what else I want to talk about? I talked about burping. I talked about this before. I've touched on it a lot before, and it was such a scary issue for me when I was going through it. I definitely want to continuously bring this up so that it can help someone else that may be going through it. I did go through a bout of dehydration, really, really, really bad, and to the point where, I was constipated and I was fearful that I may have to go to the hospital. I know one thing that after weight loss surgery patients have is problems with dehydration, and it can put you in the hospital. You can be in the hospital on an IV for any length of time if you don't kind of heed your nutritionist warnings about how much water you should be intaking on a daily basis. And I definitely didn't. You know, I had eating issues. I still have eating issues. And, you know, I would prefer, if there was any room in my sleeve, you know, I would prefer to put food in there instead of hydrating myself. And I did go through a bout of constipation really bad. It made me very, very, very sick. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. It was a really horrible experience. And so I had to give myself an enema. I know this is TMI. And it was the most, you know, painful thing I ever went through. It was like really bad. And since then, like, even though I can't give up the coffee, you know, but I definitely, if I'm going to drink coffee every day, I have to drink water. So, you know, you may go through some type of dehydration. I cannot stress enough, you have to drink water. I don't care what it is. It will put you in the hospital. And it will make you go through some very embarrassing things. My boyfriend had to help me. You don't want to have help with an enema. You don't want to have to talk to your significant other or your friends or family about what's going on with your bum hole. Like, it's embarrassing. And so you can avoid all that just by drinking water like you're supposed to. It's such a simple thing, but it is difficult when you're in your first 6 months because, you know, even drinking water, you feel the stuck sensation. I think my surgeon was like pretty awesome, and he made my sleeve pretty tight. That first week, it hurt. It physically hurt to drink water. I could feel it going past my esophagus. It was my sleeve was really tight. I could tell. So, because even now, after being a year post-op, I cannot eat a full meal. Like, I can't eat like a normal person. And usually after a year, you can't. So, I know my surgeon made my sleeve extra tight, but I was pretty big too. I was close to 400 pounds. So, I mean, thanks. But, you know, I have eating issues. I never was a fan of water. I still am. I'm still not, but I do understand because of what I went through. Like, you have to drink water. It's just not even negotiable. Like, you gotta drink it. So, within your first 6 months, you may go through some type of dehydration. Just save yourself all the issues and drink water. And I think that's basically it. Those are just a few things that are just quirky, weird things that I had not seen online that people never talked about. And you may go through. People talk about dumping syndrome and feeling stuck syndrome and like all that stuff, but no one kind of talks about how to avoid it or like what you do. And like I did the research, so I knew if I eat extra greasy things, I'll throw up. You know, that's natural. Yeah, I experienced that too. You probably heard about it. You'll probably experience it. And I read about, okay, there are foods that aren't gonna, you know, be compatible with your sleeve. And I did experience that. Shrimp and lobster. And yeah, shrimp and lobster, shellfish, which was my favorite. I don't have any allergies or anything, but they did not agree with I couldn't, 2-3 shrimp made me feel full just like that, and I threw up a few times. I mean, I love seafood so much that I knew within the first 6 months, if I eat it, I'm probably going to throw up, and I did. And, you know, that just didn't agree with me. Now I can eat, you know, shrimp and lobster, no problem. But it does make me feel fuller faster. It's one of my, like, full foods, which is another thing that you'll learn. Some foods slide right down and you can eat much more of it. Some foods, You just can't. You can't eat as much of it. And that's one of my foods. Is at first it didn't agree with my sleeve, and I couldn't eat it at all. It made me sick. And then now I can eat it, but I cannot eat a lot of shrimp. Like I can eat 5, 6 shrimp, small shrimp, and half of a lobster tail. But it doesn't make me sick anymore. And so people talked about that, and I knew about that. And then also too, people talked about foods that not foods that don't agree, but foods that you make you feel fuller faster. And mine's is chicken. Any kind of white chicken meat, chicken breast, chicken wing. I still can't eat that much of it. Like within this first 6 months, I can eat one chicken wing, drumette, not the whole like 3 pieces of the chicken wing, just like a drumette, and I was full. I was done, and it made me feel super stuck and super full. Breast, I couldn't even. I only ate a breast when my surgeon asked me to do a pouch test. It was like, okay, cook a chicken breast and see how many ounces you can eat. That was the only time I ate it within the first 6 months, because it was just like a not even question. Like I can't even mess with it, you know. Now chicken wings, like chicken drumettes, I can eat about 3. Yeah. I definitely can eat 2, but 3 or 4 if I'm like really hungry, and then I'm done. You know, so I'll say 4. But in chicken breast, I can probably like one chicken breast, like the whole with the rib and everything with the skin, like a whole full chicken breast. I can cut that up in 3 and eat that for like 3 meals. Because I've done it before. When I meal prep, that's what I do. If it's like a whole chicken breast with the rib and part on it and everything, I cut 3 portions out of that, and I make 3 meal preps, and that's how I eat it. And when I meal prep it like that, I usually am not eating the full piece of the chicken breast that I cut in there. Now, if it's like a boneless, skinless chicken breast, do I cut that up in 3? I can probably eat like half of that. No, I can't eat half of that. I mean, yeah, I'll cut it up in 2 if it's boneless chicken, boneless, skinless, and then I'll meal prep it. And then, I can eat a chicken breast, but I'm not eating that whole piece of it because it's drier. And the easiest thing, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to stop because this video is getting really long. My sister, who had the gastric bypass like 7 years ago, she told me, well, Dina, if you can't eat chicken breast, that makes sense, because next time you eat chicken, when you chew it up, just look at how it looks in your mouth. And I was like, what? She was like, just look at it. It's like that's like a big glob of dry meat. And so I was like, you know what? That does make sense. The next time I was eating chicken breast, I was like chewing it up. And then I opened my mouth and I kind of looked at it. And then I like spit it out. I know this is gross. And I looked and I was like, I tried to envision that dried up, chewed up piece of meat in my sleeve. And I was like, this is why I can't eat this. Because it's super big and it's like really dry. I was like, geez, my sister was right. That does make sense. It can't slide down. It's like super big. So white chicken meat has always been an issue for me. But, I have slider foods too. And you learn that within your first 6 months. Popcorn is like my favorite snack or food ever. And it's a slider food for me. Like I could definitely eat more popcorn than anything else. And so that's part of the reason why I snack a lot, but I digress. Anyway, so I hope this helps you out. These are weird facts about having weight loss surgery and what may happen to you within the first 6 months, and it's super weird. But you may catch yourself like beating your chest and you're like, oh my God, I saw that video on YouTube about that Dina girl, and she's so true. Like, is this where my stomach is? Like right in my chest, because that's what it feels like. But if you've experienced any of these things, or if you are having the sensation of being stuck, or if you can't eat shellfish either after you've had the weight loss surgery, give this video a thumbs up because we have something in common. And, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and like my videos and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's all Dina Got Sleeved. And let's inspire each other. Thank you so much for watching. I know these are weird things, weird topics, but you know, no one talked about this stuff when I was looking on YouTube. So hopefully I helped somebody else that's been patting their chest and they don't know why. Like I used to do this everywhere, and it was weird. Yeah, that was weird. But I don't have to do it anymore. But I miss those days of patting my chest. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a great 2016. Bye.